Day 163 of 365 days of meditation. I just wrapped up my morning practice. It was about 45 minutes long. Um, yeah, nothing really to report. Mind wandered a lot in the practice. Again, I sort of mentioned last time, I think I'm due for, a longer meditation to really drop into that relaxed state. But yeah, 45 minutes, and I don't really recall the key takeaways. I think there was one or two things in the practice where I was like, oh, that's interesting. But here I am immediately after, and I don't remember it, which is fine. Um, the, in general, what I've been noticing, again, as I said, I watched some TV while I was here house sitting, and I noticed that stuff playing on loop in the background. So just a reminder of, the importance of mental diet and how whatever you are consuming during the day is going to be processed by your brain in some shape, form, or fashion. So yeah, that was part of it, and then also thinking a lot about focusing on what I do want and creating a vision for the future, and practicing visualizing and experiencing that desirable future outcome in as much detail as possible, as often as possible, and how I'm essentially trying to train my brain to subconsciously look for a pathway forward into that future. Just the same way we'll do it automatically if I don't intentionally focus it on something or some desired outcome. So yeah, that's kind of the theme, I guess, of today as well. And then I've been thinking a lot about, not related to meditation, well, in some ways, I guess, which is doing a water fast again. I did a 9-day water fast a while back, and I noticed when I did it, everything just kind of slows down. The body slows down. This crazy sort of mental clarity that comes of it. And I almost wonder if, I remember thinking to myself at that time, how interesting would it be to, or after the fact rather, how interesting would it be to experience this water fast, prolonged water fast, while meditating daily? Because, yeah, I just think it would be a really interesting combination, given the way the brain seems to function, the clarity, the calmness that happens during an extended fast, that it would be interesting to couple that with daily meditation and see what the outcome is. So, yeah, springtime, great time to clean the body out, and I probably won't do it until after I move, but yeah, I'm sort of thinking about it, and who knows, maybe I don't end up doing it, but I'm kind of thinking about doing it after I move at this point in time, and just seeing what the outcome is. Might be interesting. Little experiment during this existing 365-day experiment. An experiment within an experiment. Anyway, and in terms of how that, how that ties into mental health, I would say there's, a sizable amount of research out there that shows some correlation between the gut microbiome and mental health, and then also inflammation in the body, which is, part of the process of digesting food, but definitely part of the process when we digest food that is not healthy for us, and how that inflammation can find its way into the brain and impact the brain, and impact mental health. So there was I think it was in Ellen Vora's book about the anatomy of anxiety, and she quoted some studies or cited some studies where there was a sort of correlation between, they're looking at a correlation between inflammation in the body and brain and obsessive compulsive behavior, anxiety disorder behavior, essentially. So anyway, that's it for today's ramblings. In closing, if you're struggling at all with your mental health, do not do what I did for way too many years of my life and keep it to yourself and suffer in silence. I had a friend of mine put it very aptly, I think, at one point. He said, when he was experiencing OCD and so struggling with his mental health and kept it to himself. He locked himself in a cage for 5 years or something like that. And I think that was a good way of describing it. You know, not talking about it, just trying to power through and thinking things are going to change while you continue to do the same thing really is sort of locking yourself in this cage of hopeless suffering. And I know it because I've done it firsthand. So if you are struggling, don't suffer in silence. Talk to somebody, talk to somebody, talk to somebody. It can be the first step you take towards changing your life, changing, altering your mental health and well-being. And you'll be helping end the stigma around mental health. So future people who are struggling with their mental health at all will nip it in the bud sooner rather than later and talk to somebody before the sort of habits of behavior and thinking persist and become harder to undo. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.